Welcome to Beaver Creek State Park. Campground's down there somewhere. I'm in southeastern Minnesota, pretty extreme southeastern Minnesota, in the Driftless area, and I just decided I needed some time in the woods. So I came to just Beaver Creek State Park and Campground. Little Beaver Creek, that's up in Pictured Rocks. There's a little campground there. It's really nice, like 10 sites. Anyway, this is where I am. This is Scotty Wandering. My name is Peter. I'm going to show you around the park and show you the entire campground so you can decide if these sites are going to work for you. They are very different. There are no huge sites. There's decent sized sites for some RVs. There's smaller sites, and then there are really small tent only sites. And yeah, I checked in. One or two might have worked for me, but most of them really are best for tents. And you have to go through the creek to get to them. So we'll get to that later in the video, but right now, this is the view from the steep rock trail. And it was steep, and you do have to come up here if you want any cell service. So you can check your messages up here, kind of thing. They do have Wi-Fi down at the visitor center welcome booth. It's there. It's not great, and I could not book a reservation on the website for some reason. I had to wait for somebody to come around to the welcome center before I could check in and reserve a site. We'll get to that later. Anyway, this is the view. I bet this is amazing in the fall. This has got to be a view to check out in the fall. Alright, so what we have here, I got a bench. This is for the nervous Nellies who don't like the cliff edge. They can cling to this bench. Well, the rest of the party hangs out on the rock on the cliff edge. Let's go. Now there are a lot of trails here. I'm going to explore all of them. Just give you a hint of each one of them. More on that tomorrow. Like the Switchback Trail here. But the real star of the show here, the Switchback Trail will take me up a different bluff than I was just on. But the real star of the show around here is the creek. You'll find plenty of places like this to sit along the creek. Bonus tip when you're looking for the campsite, I'm going to tell you one special site close to where I am, where this and the bench and the rocks down there that you can set a chair on are the backyard of this site along the Big Springs Trail. I'm on the trail now, but I'll let you know which site that was. The site with the amazing backyard is site 16. So this is the source. There is a creek coming down through the upper campground. It's pretty dry. It's not moving a lot. But this is Big Spring. This is the source of most of the water flow through the canyon here. Or valley. Feeling kind of canyonish with these bluffs. That's at least 3 feet deep, but really clear. If you ever want to know what birds are in my videos in the background. Get the Merlin app. Tells you what you're listening to. Good morning. I am up bright and early, but not as early as the birds. I have a lot to say this morning. I'm going to hit the West Bluff Trail, and hopefully there's an overlook somewhere. I have no idea what I'm going to find out there. But at this point, there's some light here, but the trail is hiding over here. It's going to get a little dark. Well, this trail is a nice, wide, mowed trail, which is good news when you're trying to avoid ticks. While I have quickly learned, as you climb out of that valley, it gets a lot quieter. Not as many birds up here as there are down in there. See a little blush in the sky. Well, I came to a point where the mowing stopped, and now it's just a nice wooded trail. But again, top of the hill, almost no birds. I'm not intentionally chasing her, but there is a whitetail ahead of me. Well, I've now made it to the end of the park, I believe, on the trail, where the park is that way, and the whole valley is the campground, and the trails kind of run the perimeter of the property line. And I'm up on a bluff looking out. Oh look, a viewpoint-ish. Yeah, this would be the tip out here. Now from that viewpoint at the tip of the park, back down, it may not be grassy, but it's still wide enough for them to run their zero-turn mower through here and keep it clear. Okay, just came down the West Rim Trail, kind of ends off here, and then the trail going that way actually runs out the back of the park, follows the creek out to a little gravel road at the corner of the park. I'm gonna head down the Hole in the Rock Trail, I think is where I'm going next, but right there is one of the walk-in campsites hiding back in here. Well, while we're here, I'm gonna show you the walk-in sites. C49. This is the one that I just pointed out. Now, they're not that isolated from each other. I can see C50 right there. So there's plenty of space in these. You got your picnic table, fire ring, and plenty of room for tents. Every site in this campground basically follows that model. There's 50 and 51. We'll have to come down here. Now, you do have to, with a wheelbarrow is the support that they have, try to come back up through here with your gear. Let's go down to 51. Feels a little more isolated. Oh yeah. I would suggest bringing your own folding wagon if you're going to be coming back here. Oh, this one's huge. It'd be a real challenge to bring enough stuff to fill this space. Nicely isolated. And you're going to be able to see the stars at night from here. This will be a beautiful place for stargazing. And there may be times of year, on a wetter year than this. This is the creek that comes in all the way from the back of the property comes through here, where to get to those sites, you may have to walk across that. Let's see. Oh, there's more. All right. I got 43 to 48 over here. So the parking area is over there. Another creek crossing there. There are wheelbarrows there to get you back in here with your stuff, but they're just a single wheelbarrow. C44 kind of right on the trail. This one will get traffic going by. Not all that big. 43 is at least set back from the trail. It's up in there, so that's not a bad spot. 45, again, right on the trail. And 46 up here, also on the trail. There's really not much hiding you from the trail if that's what you want. And these don't have as good a stargazing as that one in the back. Oh, a couple more yet. 47's tucked back in nicely. Well, I thought this trail continued. I guess not. So maybe not so bad because these are not on a continuous trail. This is nice. This one overlooks the dry creek right now. Like I said, on a wetter year, you have to cross a creek, but you would hear it from here. One left. And at the end of the path is 48. Meh. It's all dirt, gravel. You'd almost be better off putting your tent out here in the path, which isn't a path. Used to be a path through there. It almost looks like it used to be a road. And then back near the entrance, you got a pair of pit toilets and some sites at the end here. Trail closed. What trail is that? Oh, look, the trail's closed. Okay, I guess I gotta go further in to catch the other trail. Well, while I'm out here at the end of the campground loop, or drive, it's just a straight out loop back. It's one shot. There's W42 out here, another walk-in, and 41 here. Walk-in is relative because you park right next to it. So they're right there. Let's see off the back here. This is kind of cool. Now this is kind of firewood they provide that you can buy here. It's easy to start and there's no kindling around here, so it's kind of important. But this is what's off the back of that site. And the only way to access that is through that site. Well, you can see what the cliffs are made out of. Okay, here's something I hadn't seen before. It took me a while to figure out how to use the thing. So we got a solar panel running to a battery to a pump. Let's see if I can actually get it working. There's a switch on the back. Drives the pump. And there's your fresh water. Not quite your normal Baker pump, but it works. Kind of loud. Okay, our next walk-in campsite up here. Kind of a dirt pad in the woods. Oh, looks like we got two of them back here. They butt up to each other, but with separate entrances. Let's see where we're at. Okay, that first one is 40. Means the other one is probably 39. Down here. It's the entrance. Park over there. That grassy area. And then climb up in. Alright, so where the trail used to go, that's closed right now, probably rode that ridge going up. It's a nice gentle slope. Which means I gotta catch it somewhere further down or it's going to go up the cliff. Well, we'll continue to glance at the walk-in sites. This is 38. Parking out here. And a dirt pad here. So parking over here for the site over here, 37. Up the stairs. Now this one has a pad for the tent, so you don't have to park yourself on the mud, which is probably good because on a rainy day I have a feeling water comes down that hill. A little bit down from that, got a parking area here, or you can pull off over here at 36. Now they leave themselves a path wide enough to get the mower in here. Again, another one with a gravel pad for a tent. And right next to that is the start of the West Rim Trail, where this is not where I started today. Oh, there must be an intersection there somewhere. Okay, that puts me here. I started it down here at the beginning of the walk-in sites. This is the next trail I need to take with a hole in the wall, hole in the rock. I'll do that later today. Let me finish off these walk-in sites for you. On the other side of that trailhead over there, we have 35. Nice grassy space all around. Really nice grassy spot for a tent back there. And on the other side of all of this undercover, we have what, 34. This one you can park in here. I could have parked in here. So this one is a little more friendly to something bigger if they want. And then it's all just dirt pad back there. Now they don't recommend, certainly no trailers back here because there's no turnaround for that. Doesn't really recommend motor homes at all because you got to do these river crossings. Well, I'm thinking if the Toyota Prius can get back there, I can get back there. All right, that brings us to our next vault toilet. Across from that, it looks like they're working on an accessible site over here at 33. It currently isn't, but that is marked as an accessible pit toilet. And I think that's what they're going to be building out here. And that brings me to the hole in the rock trail in the middle, heading up that way. I'll come back to that later. And then we got also a parking area for, where's my number? What am I at? Over here is the number. 32. This has got some nice grass in it. That area over there that's designed for tents is a little gravelly, but with the right padding underneath, you'll be fine. Okay, that's 32, the parking area over there. 31 here. This one feels a little smaller, but does it keep going? Yeah, it tucks back into the woods there a bit. Nice spot for a tent. Okay, I just came down from there. Got 30 over here. If the creek was flowing, this would be on the creek. Got a big gravel pad back there. And over here, 29, because we are counting down. That's how we're doing this. Over here, nice space in the woods. And that brings us to 28. That's occupied and still sleeping. That's 28. So that's how much river flow we got right now coming through here. And there's a creek run behind those sites. And then we got 27 over here. Park out here and camp. Plenty of room for tents there. Got the screening room and the tent. And then the side area for the picnic table up there. Then after a little gap, that brings me back to where I started today, this morning, at the West Rim Trail, at the end of the drive-in sites, not the walk-in sites. Everything back there, W for walk-in. So that's where that trail is. This is also where the Big Springs trail is, and the Big Spring is right through there. And after this turnaround, there's an accessible cabin as well. So that brings me back to my site. Gonna get my breakfast now. I guess I picked the wrong trail for a sunrise hike, not a recommended sunrise hike. I'll check out the Hole in the Rock Trail next and then continue the campground tour, but for now, breakfast. Okay, I'm still gonna get to the Hole in the Rock Trail, but in the middle heart of the campground here, we got our shower house and bathroom. And this is the second time this year I've encountered this kind of shower house. Yes, we have running water. We have a shower. It is heated. I had to run a whole cycle before it actually warmed up. There are sinks with water to wash your hands. There's gray water. And then there's a pit toilets. Not flushing toilets. So just be aware of that. At this point, Steep Rock Trail goes up that way. You can also get to the Big Spring Trail back there. All the sites over there are electric, plus 2 here, but I'm going to give you those in a later segment. I'm going to do, on my way back to the Hole in the Rock Trail, I'm going to do the standard sites, non-electric sites. So, S17 here. That's as long as it gets. So you have the whole, vehicles, room for vehicles here. And this one does have a grassy area, but also has a gravel pad back there. I am in 18, and then you'll notice I'm the last one because everybody parks as close as they can to our bathroom. That's really what it is. Tucked back in here where I finally got flat surface. Again, every one of these sites, they're not huge, but they have what you need. Picnic table, room for the picnic table, room for a tent. Cross over to 18. There's not much dividing me between 18 other than a vehicle goes here. Plenty long pad here for a longer trailer if you want. Again, picnic table, firing. Oh, picnic table, firing. Grass area, plenty of room for tents. All right, 20. Again, we've got almost 50 feet here, I think, of pad. Plenty of room for tents over here. Very comfortable space. Little more dividing between it and the last one. Got some good cover before S21 here. This one, not so grassy. This one's a little dirtier, a little more dirt area. Right now, they put the picnic table over there so they can just mow. Makes it much easier. They mow on Tuesday mornings. At least they did yesterday or Tuesday afternoon. S22, maybe a 35-foot pad here. No, that's 40 feet at least. And nice grassy area on the side. 23. Fairly long pad. Tree hangs down it over a little bit there, so that might be a challenge for some vehicles, but it's not a heavy branch. And grassy area for tents. The accessible cabin over here, which kind of backs up to the Big Spring. S24. This one's more of a grassy gravel pad, quite long actually. So you can comfortably get a trailer in here if you don't need the electric. I mean, let's just say that Big Spring over there bubbles out at 50 degrees. That stream is 50 degrees. That stream keeps this place cold. So it is very chilly here in the morning. It's very chilly in the evening, and the sun struggles to get down in here. And I was shocked to see people down in the electric section where it was a cool evening running their ACs, because they don't design RVs to let the air through. It was all sealed up. All right, 25 here behind me. Simple pad, lots of grassy area, but we're on the road. This is the turnaround for RVs to get out of here. So during the time at the end of the day when people have to leave, everybody's gonna be coming around here. And then the last of these is 26. This one's got a little uphill slope, then it levels off. That's 26. Big springs there. And somewhere down here is my hole in the rock trail that I'm going for. And in case it wasn't clear, then it continues on for quite a ways as we go through all the walk-in camping. Okay, hole in the rock trail, middle section here. So that should put me heading up here to this. So this is the section of trail, or at least a section here that is closed. I might be able to go up and go back over here. Then I'm going to continue all the way up to the beginning of the park up here. I'll decide if I want to do the Mossy steep trail now or later. I got all day. And that brings you back around. And the campground just runs along this road. It's kind of interesting the way the campground is divided. We have the electric section here, the non-electric, and then all the walk-ins. Big Springs trail goes behind the campground from one end to the end of the electric, or one end of electric to non-electric, so the whole set stretch there. The steep rock trail juts out of the middle of that, and then the West Rim trail takes off at the dividing line between the non-electric and the walk-ins and all the way around back in. So it's almost like the trails are blocked off by section of the campground. All right, heading up. Partway up the trail, it's a steep climb. Remember how I mentioned that there was a pile of lumber that looked like they were doing something for a potential accessible site? Well, so there's a pile of lumber there, and a bigger pile up there we'll get to near a bridge. And there is where the trail is closed. So that bridge is being replaced. All right, so the bridge is closed. Obviously not in good condition over this gorge, but kudos. Hauling that lumber up here. Another stack starting way down at the bottom of the hill there. That's some impressive work. So next year should be a nice bridge here. Please give a shout out to whatever organization is doing that. Getting up there, this is a rough trail. Rough rock trail here. So just past that viewpoint I was at with the up there with a contemplative bench and a chance to sit down with some cell signal. Just past that is a hole in the rock. Yep, it's a hole in the rock. There you go. Now we'll continue down the trail. Now, this is not one of those mowed trails because you obviously can't get mower up there here. But on trails like this, it does appear that they've come by with a weed eater and beat it back to still help you avoid ticks on your hikes. Interesting thing about a place like this is exploring the woods, hiking out of here. Once you get to the top, you look across. Really, it's not that you're climbing up, It's the valley is down from the farmland that is all around it. And we are right on the edge, right here is barbed wire fence, of the property line. So up here, just through these woods, you'll find farm fields. And now my trail snakes down. I'm coming up on another bridge. Very simplistic bridge here. 2 logs and some cross pieces. Hole in the Rock Trail. The way I went up was straight up from the middle of the campground. There's the way from the end of the campground that is currently closed that'll probably ride a ridge up. But if you come in from the main entrance area near the visitor center or whatever, you will have a gentle climb up, but know that the best viewpoint is just a few feet past the hole in the rock. So if you want the viewpoint, just go just past it and you will find it. You will be rewarded with that view. All right, sense of what happened. Went up there. Up there is the good viewpoint. Nice gentle climb down through here. I'm now at this junction. Continue down, you get to the day use area. I'm going to cross over and take the Mossy step trail now. That's going to climb me up the hill, and I'll see where I find up in that area. It's not a very long trail, but I believe it's pretty steep. And that brings me back around to the visitor center. Find out. Mossy step thing here. Well, that was just the section along the side of the road. That was challenging enough. I'm curious what the switchbacks are going to be like. Oh, Mossy Seep trail, not step. Okay, that's a very steep trail. Even with the switchbacks, those last couple legs to get to where I am now are very steep. This is my current viewpoint. Needs a little vista cutting. Time for a couple minutes on the bench. Very pretty behind me too. Well, that's not something I see on the trail every day. There's a tree stand right there. And there's a deer at the bottom of the hill right now. Ha! I see him. You don't. There he goes. Yeah, I'm up here. See him down there? And that dumps me out at the end of the Mossy Seep Trail, right behind the visitor center. Well, there's my little friend right there. I don't know if that's the same one. It's a good chance it is. Did I just see you from up there? Hi. You're not the same one I saw in the back of the park too, are you? Are there multiples of you? You all look alike to me. Hi. Yeah. I'll go now. You can enjoy your breakfast. All right, let's get the campground tour finished up now, and then I'm going to hit the Beaver Creek Trail. We're going to do this backwards. E16, the best site with electric. So fairly long pad. Room for tents back there, but this is the one that also has the beautiful access along the Big Springs Trail. Oh, and a couple deer running through. But this is where I was going. There they go, boing, 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 boing. Well, they're back there. Anyway, beautiful rock to sit on down there. Dunk your toes. Max 2 minutes. You'll be frozen. All right, 15. Right next to the restroom, electric. A little smaller. Still have easy access to get back there because the trail also runs over there. Campground was fairly full. It's now afternoon and most people have left. That brings me to 14. Yeah. Nice shady spot back here. There is room. It tucks around for a tent over there. They all do a nice job of that. They don't seem big, but they have that extra little space to them. 13 over here. That put us at 12. This one, the tent space is up front. Oh, I got it backwards. This is 13. That's 12. See that one? It's 10. There was something really big in here earlier. Like a great big fifth wheel before. I guess that put this as 11 over here. So it tucks back in. Nice, still a nice place for a tent on the side. 9 over here. See what they have to do to fit in there. Green space over on the side there. 8 over here. Again, something really big was here. And plenty of green space on the side there. Okay, 7 over here. This one's not as long, and you kind of bump up into the bank there. Lots of green space here. 6 on this side. This one is a pretty long pad here. The biggest challenge with something that fits in here is getting it out of here, because you got to go out that way and do the tight turnaround and come back. I'm going to assume the scamp is in 5 here. Yep, that's 5. We'll see if we make sense here, if this is 4 or not. Yep, this is 4. Nice little area off to the side back here. 3. Got some nice space there. Now, behind this whole row here, there's little woods, then the trail, then the creek. Two over here get a little smaller, less private. Not as much space for a tent over there. And then one here does have a distinct advantage of you can hear running water. I'll show you that in a second. Yeah, there's a nice spot for a tent over there. A really nice advantage to one is you are the closest one to this sitting area around the creek going by. So that's the campground tour. It'll be chaptered out amongst the whole thing here. It's a little late now to say that, but hopefully you can find what you're looking for. It definitely starts busier. Again, clustered around the bathhouse. Electric sites are always more popular than non-electric sites, and the walk-ins even less popular, but they were also clustered by activity by closest to the bathhouse. Okay, it's about 1 o'clock. Sun's as high as it can be in daylight savings time. And I'm going to take the creek trail now. So no elevation change midday. And just follow that down the creek and back. All right, I did learn something for a Wisconsinite, not knowing. Hiking club trail. What that means is around the Minnesota system, there are hiking clubs, or there are these trails set up in all the state parks, and they are loop trails you can take, and you can sort of get your passport stamped and things like that too. More information can be found here, and there's your QR code if you really want more information. Silly me, I forgot a trail. So there's the Rivers Trail here. I forgot about the Switchback Trail. It's sort of an out and back, but it's a climber. So I guess I gotta do that yet. See if there's a view from that side. Oh, there's a viewpoint. Time to take a moment on the bench. Well, that was worth the pause. That's an amazing view from up here. Probably one of the best viewpoints. I am so glad I did not skip this trail. Point 6. I'm pretty sure that's just the loop. So far, on all of these hikes I've done, I have not come across anybody else while I was on a hike, except deer. And my count right now is at 9 deer. All right, let me recap some of these trails for you and what's worth it and what may not be worth it. Okay, Switchback Trail, excellent viewpoint. Mossy Seep Trail. No wonder nobody travels that one. West Rim Trail, no viewpoint there. All of these are nice hikes in the wood. Steep Rock Trail, excellent viewpoint. And Hole in the Rock Trail, really nice viewpoint. And that one's right next to the Hole in the Rock. Hope that helps with you deciding on which trails to take. I am still on the Beaver Creek Valley Trail. I got a lot more to go. We'll see if I find some amazing spots. No viewpoints here because this is all in the valley, but we'll see if we find some amazing spots on the creek. There are times when you need to make choices in life, and right now I think I need to choose cold feet. Well, I've come to a point of decision. I'm going to skip the Plateau Rock Trail. I'm looking at the elevation change, everything. I do see it goes up the hill, but it doesn't look like it goes up enough to be a viewpoint. If you've been up there, please leave a comment down below. Let others know if that trail has something worth visiting. Part of the valley is just being a valley. Creek's on the other side. These trails are beautifully maintained. All the trails in the park I've discovered and noticed seem to be pretty well maintained for the kind of trail they are. Some are much more rugged, but the trees are still cleared when they're down, that kind of thing. These trails, if you noticed on those stream crossings, there was a bridge and then the other area. The other area is set up so that they can drive their zero-turn mowers through it to get out here. That was another pretty little spot. So unlike other places where I've had to do stream crossings, you're always worried about unstable rocks and everything else. Well, here, they're practically a road. Easy to cross. Well, hiked up to the hill one last time for my evening sunset-ish walk and to get better light on these hillsides. And this is what I found. Much more interesting when you get a little shading on this. It's not all just one intensity. Beautiful view from up here. Well, that's it for Beaver Creek Valley State Park. I think I've covered it all except that one side trail I didn't get to. This place has been just what I needed right now. I wanted some time in the woods, and this place gave it to me. I haven't had mosquitoes to deal with. The water's flowing. There's nothing stagnant except way up there, maybe a little bit. And plenty of woods time, plenty of places to explore. And can you really beat this? Just beautiful flowing water. Flows all year round. 50 degrees all year round coming out of the spring. So you can come here in the winter and see this covered with snow and the water's still flowing through it. And some of this stuff will still be popping up green in the middle of it. So thanks for coming along. I haven't done a lot of Minnesota state parks, just a couple up on the North Shore. I hope to get to more in the future, probably not this year, but in the future, I'll be back exploring some more. I hope I find more gems like this. This is something really special. I hope folks in Minnesota appreciate this one. I'll see you in the next one. Get on out there and really enjoy these public lands.